I have always wanted to make homemade bagels. That's what we're doing today. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you are with Grammy in the Kitchen. So I'm going to send you back in time to yesterday where we made the bagel dough and got it into the refrigerator. So the channel I saw these bagels, it's NYT Cooking. The letters NYT Cooking. And her name is Claire Shaffritz. I know I'm saying that wrong and I am so sorry. But I'll put a link right below on the bagel recipe. And she weighs her ingredients, which we're going to do. So she says to use bread flour. So I have my bread flour. Now since we don't have the barley malt syrup, we're going to use the molasses. And if we don't like the way it tastes, we're definitely going to get some barley malt syrup the next time. So we're doing grams. Okay, 530 grams. Too much. Nope, I'm not there yet. Too much. Figures. Wow. Okay, 530 grams of water. We're going to put that aside. I'm not adding anything to that bowl without weighing it out first. We'll tear it out. 1, 2 and a quarter. We need 2 tablespoons. I'm using molasses, but she calls for barley malt syrup. We're going to try it with molasses, see if we like it. So we need 2 tablespoons. That is the sugar that we're using, or the sweetness we're using in our bagels or in the dough. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied. All right, mix that in. And now we need to weigh 885 grams of bread flour. So I got a new bowl. I teared it out to 0, change it to kilograms. It says about 6.5 cups or 885 grams. Tear it to 0, and we need 17 grams or 2 tablespoons of salt. I probably should have put the dry ingredients in this bowl and the liquid ingredients in this bowl, but that's okay. Lesson learned, next time. Mix those ingredients together, the salt and the flour, and she makes a little well in the bottom. That's why I'm saying I should have switched the bowls, but that is okay. And now we're going to add our liquid. into the dry ingredients. Make sure we get all that goodness out of here. And slowly incorporate the flour, salt into the liquid. Oop, I'm making a mess. And we're going to go in here and do some kneading in the bowl before we move it onto the countertop. We just want to incorporate all of that liquid and the dry ingredients together. It smells good. She says we need to knead this for 15 minutes. And only add flour when you need it in EED. Very interesting color with that molasses. Right, so we kneaded this for 15 minutes. And that was the longest 15 minutes of my life. But don't skimp that step, because as you can see, we have a nice smooth dough. All right, let's pinch this in closed. And we have a beautiful dough ball. We're going to add a little bit of flour. We're just going to use the mixing bowl, put our dough in there, cover it with plastic wrap. We're just going to set this aside for an hour and a half to 2 hours until it doubles in size. All right, so let me get the kitchen reset while we're waiting on the bagel dough to rise. Our bagel dough has risen beautiful. Look how pretty that is. All right, so that weighs 1,462 grams, and we should be able to get 12 bagels. And we're looking at between 121 to 122 grams per bagel. And we're going to roll these up into a dough ball. So we want to cover this with the plastic wrap. And then a damp dish towel. And we're going to leave it right here just for a few minutes to relax the gluten in this dough ball before we make our bagels. So I have the large baking sheet with parchment paper. We do want to put a little bit of oil. Got a pastry brush. I'm just going to paint this on. Now the gluten in our dough has rested. So we're going to take one of our dough balls. We're going to form it into a snake. Taper down the ends. Form it around our hands, overlap the tapered ends, and roll those together. And the way she says, we want to make it bigger than the shape of our final product, because as it rises in the refrigerator, it will start shrinking, and then we'll have more of a dinner roll versus a bagel. We're going to continue for the rest of the bagels. Cover it back up with our plastic wrap. And our damp tea towel. We can refrigerate these for overnight or a minimum of 4 hours. If I get to them this evening, I get to them. If I don't, it's okay. We'll take care of it tomorrow. So in the refrigerator, these will go minimum 4 hours to overnight. So welcome back. The bagels have been in the refrigerator overnight. Now we're going to get ready to cook these. I am super excited. I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees. So I have a pot of water that we need to boil our bagels in. And like I said yesterday, we do not have the barley malt syrup. We use molasses for the dough. We're just going to use molasses in here. All right, that looks about the right color. She said about 1/4 cup, but more of a color than the measurement. And we need a teaspoon of baking soda. We're going to bring that to a boil. So I have some washcloths on the bench so that when I laid the bagels on this cookie resting rack, they're not going to drip all over my countertop. So I do have a bowl of water to do the float test. I have everything but bagel seasoning. And then I have more right here. This is our bagels that we made yesterday. I'm just going to take one bagel, put it in here, and they float, so we are good to go. Beautiful. She says if it doesn't float, just leave it on your countertop for about 15 minutes, I believe she said, and check again. And eventually, once the yeast is reactivated from being dormanted in the refrigerator, they'll come back and start puffing up, and you'll be able to get the float test. But that's the same channel we used when we made our croissants for Thanksgiving. I like the way she describes and goes into details on different baking techniques. She is my first go-to when I want to make something new for me. There's something she said in this video that made so much sense to me. When you're making something that you think that you can only buy at the grocery store, but you can make it yourself, it's not only fun, but it's empowering that you can do the things if you have the right ingredients. We have the ingredients, we can do the things. And making bagels has been one of those things that I've been wanting to do forever. You know what they say, a watch pot never boils. It will boil, it just takes forever. We are finally boiling. Turn this down to a medium. And we're going to put 3 in a time. And we're going to cook it on this side for 30 seconds. Then we're going to flip it, cook it for an additional 30 seconds. Then we're going to put it on our draining rack. Right, so we want to make sure we put the bottom down first. Oh yeah, it's making that beautiful blister she was talking about. I can see the little blisters. Oh, that is perfect. Bring the water back to a boil and repeat the process. So in the everything but bagel seasoning. Oh, they are so beautiful. Thank you so much, Claire. Now we're going to go ahead and do another 3. 30 seconds, flip 30 seconds, take them out. They are just absolutely gorgeous. So I have the large baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Let's go ahead and transfer our bagels from the drying rack to the baking sheet. And we're going to bake these for about 18 to 20 minutes. She says we're looking for a color, not a time. So we want to make sure that those blisters that we created with the baking soda in the boiling water has a nice definition to it, and we want them nice and dark golden brown. The timer is set for 18 minutes. We're going to go ahead and clean up this countertop so when we're ready to pull those out, we'll have a place to put them. That's been 18 minutes. Oh my God, they're beautiful. But I do want to check the internal temperature and make sure they're done. So bread needs to be between 190 to 110 degrees. And then we'll decide if we need to do it for an additional 2 minutes. Okay, we're 190. We are done. Family, if you only know how excited I am about this. I am stoked that we just made homemade bagels. They just came out of the oven. They are super, super hot. Sorry about the background noise. I am making another pot of coffee. It's cold, icky here this morning. All right, let's open this thing up. It's going to be hot. Let's see what we have. No, I think it needs to cook a little bit longer. I'm gonna put the other leaven back in the oven and just cook it for the additional 2 minutes. But we're gonna eat that one anyway. Well, like I said, we did not have the barley malt syrup. We used the molasses. We're just gonna see how well it turned out. They are pretty. I think that extra 2 minutes is going to do the trick, but they are delicious. Now, will this be something I would want to make in the future? Most definitely. But I want to make sure I get that barley malt syrup so we can make it the proper way and see which way we like it better, with that syrup or with the molasses. But it is good with the molasses. Oh my goodness. Claire from the NYT channel, where I got the recipe from, is so true. It is fun to make new items in your kitchen, try new recipes, but it's empowering knowing that we can make the things that we like to buy from the grocery store because we already have the ingredients. We can make it a whole lot cheaper than we can buy it. We made bagels. I am so stoked. I hope you give this recipe a try. Cook yours for the whole 20 minutes. Check the temperature. I think we're shooting towards more of the 205 degrees versus the 190. I think that's going to be the perfect consistency for that inside chew with the outside crustiness of a true bagel. But it is really good. Oh, family, it's so pretty. Well, I just want to say thank you very much for hanging out with me while we made bagels. It was simple ingredients, simple to make. It just takes time because you have to make the dough the day before, shape it into the bagels, put it in the refrigerator for overnight, and then the next day you have to boil them. The water that has either the barley malt syrup or the molasses with a little bit of baking soda. Put your toppings on it. Everything but bagels, what we had. Everything but bagels, what we used. And then you have to bake them for about 20 minutes. It's so worth it. We got a dozen bagels that we already had ingredients in the house. We didn't have to buy anything. This did not cost us anything today. Initially, yes it did, but today it didn't. Thank you for hanging out with me while we made bagels. Right over here, you're gonna see a couple videos. Go check those out to the next upload. They're either gonna inspire you to get into your kitchen or give you a chuckle. Either one is fine with me. Until next time, y'all have a blessed day and make some bagels.